Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, you're welcome. If you are an old subscriber, you're welcome. Please kindly subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button to get notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you. Now these are the materials needed. We'll be needing crinoline, about 6 inches width crinoline, measuring tape, needle and thread, scissors for cutting, feathers. This is the kind of feathers. If there are more materials needed, you see it at the cost of the training. Now let's begin. Now we'll be needing lighter as well. You need to pay attention to details in this tutorial because there are more materials you will need to know at the cost of this training. Now I'll be folding the crinoline into two this way, and I'll use my lighter to light it this way so I can gum it together, because once the lighter lights it, it glues together naturally, just like that. So you can see the way I'm just doing it with the tip of my finger, just this way. So you can keep doing that until you're sure that it has glued properly. Okay, so you need to be sure it is glued properly. So I will still use my thread to tie it as well. I put my needle in it and I want to tie it this way. Just watch the way I am tying it. So you can see the way I'm doing it. So you can tie yours this way as well. So make sure it is strong and properly placed. Now I'm going to start my running stitches. So just watch the way I'm going to do this running stitches. So let me just measure out the measurements I will use for this. So this is about 20 inches that I want to use, but altogether it's 60 inches long. I didn't cut anyone. I just tied something down to the 60 inches. Then I used my needle and thread, my needle alone, sorry, to hold down that 20 inches. Now I've started sewing. I folded the crinoline into two, remember. So I've started doing my running stitch. I didn't cut out my crinoline anyhow. My crinoline was not cut out. It's still in the row like that. That's what you need to understand. So the crinoline was folded into two before I started doing this running stitch. Please remember, you can see it's folded and I am doing this running stitch. So you can see the way it's coming out. So you can see the way it's coming out. So as it is like this, I just need to drag it for it to be in place properly. Okay, so I'll just hold it down. So what I just did, I didn't know when my camera went off, or just to gather it this way. Can you see what I'm doing? Then I used my needle and thread to tack it together. So there is no big deal there. I just gathered and used my needle and thread to hold down. So it's still the same thing. I was just taking it round. I didn't do anything much. So let me just do it again so that you can see what I did. Just gather together, just like this. Nothing so difficult. It's just a continuation of the sewing. There is nothing so difficult about it. So I'll continue tacking to be sure it's properly tacked and properly placed. This one at the back, I'll still join it later when I'm through with everything. I just left it that way for a reason. So I'll bring in my thread as well and continue with another design. So I'll just be using like 20 inches. I didn't cut out, so you can see the way I used, where I used red stuff to tie, so that I'll know that altogether what I used is just 16 inches, but I didn't cut out anyway. So I'll put my thread at the middle. Remember, I started from the back before I started doing this running stitch. So I'm just doing running stitch, and it goes at the middle of this crinoline, not at the tip. I'm just doing the running stitch at the middle of the crinoline. That's where it is going. Just watch what I'm doing. So I'll drag it. You can see what it has turned to. So make sure I drag properly, and I'll tack down to be sure it's properly tacked. So you can see where the 16 inches stopped. That's why I tied, for me to be sure that everything is 16 inches. So I've cut it out now. I've not cut out anything since I started. Just now that I cut out, knowing that altogether what I use is just 60 inches. So I'm putting it together this way, and I'll use my lighter to light it as well in order to glue it together. So I'm making sure it is properly glued together. Please, you need to watch this video to the end if you really want to get what we are doing here. So I'll still use my thread to tie the tip of the crinoline. So I'll bring my heart wire. This is why I said you need to follow this tutorial to the end, so that you know more materials we need for this. This is heart wire. It is a flexible heart wire, not the strong one. So I'll be using it to fix but at the edge of my crinoline. So you can see the way I just put it, and I'm sewing it together with the tip of this crinoline this way. Please watch closely so that you can see what I am doing. I am sewing this at the tip. I'm sewing it together with this wire. Hope you can see clearly what I am doing here. Hope it is clear to you. So this is how I'll keep sewing until you get to see where I will stop. So I'll keep sewing. Just watch the next thing that I'm gonna do. So I've gotten to this place and I've tied it up. Then I'll cut out with my scissors. So as this place is, I'll just fold it this way. I just want to cut out the tip of this crinoline because what is at that tip is much. Just cutting out a little, okay, just to make it smooth. So I'll fold this heart wire this way. Just watch what I'm gonna do. So as I folded it that way, I'll tack down. I forgot to tie my thread before sewing, so I've tied it now. So I'll stitch it to the end of this place the way I did the other part. You can see I've already stitched it. So the next part is using this bias. That's why I said you should follow this tutorial, because bias is one of the things we'll be using as well. So I'll apply my gum. This gum I'm using is this shoemaker gum. You can use your UHU gum. My UHU gum finished, so I decided to improvise with this one. So you still allow it to dry a bit. I want to measure to be sure it is the same length with what I'm going to fix there. So as I've applied the gum, I'll use it to cover up this place where I put the wire in order to cover up the wire. You can see what I'm doing, right? So I'll gum it until I'm sure it is properly covered. So I've gummed it up, so these remaining parts I'll just use my scissors to trim it up so you can see the way it is. So I'll repeat the same to this other part as well. Okay, so I've repeated the same. So I'll use my cutter, my wire cutter, to cut out the remaining wire. Okay, so as it is like this, I'll just use my needle and thread to tack down together. So I'll just use this needle and thread to tie this ending part together properly. Okay, so I just want to freestyle to know how this design will land. So you can twist it to anyhow you want it to be, to any design you want. So it all depends on how you want your design to look. Yeah, it can look this way if that is what you want. You can twist it to another form if that is what you want. So I decided to twist mine to this. You can see the way it is. So as it is like this, I'll tack down with my needle and thread so that it will be properly placed together with the base where I started. Okay, just to use the needle and thread to tack it together. Okay, as they're tacking together, you can just put this your feathers, fix it to be anywhere you want it to be. It's just a form of freestyling. There's nothing so difficult about this design. It's just as simple as ABC. So you can see the way it is. So I'm tacking it down with my needle and thread. So you can decide to put your flower to cover up this side. So after that, I apply my gum, my Alice band, and I fixed it under it. So there's nothing so difficult about this. You can see the reason why I told you to watch this tutorial to the end, because so many things you need to know, so many tactics and what have you. You can decide to use your bead to put at the ending of this crystal bead is sold in the market to form as a design at the tip of that ending. So it all boils down to what you want. If that is what you want, you put it. If that is not what you want, you leave it. So I don't know how you prefer it, if you prefer it with the bead or without the bead, but I later removed the bead and trimmed off that part properly. I didn't need that bead again. I just had to remove it because I found out that it wasn't that necessary. So I removed it. So this is how it looks like when it is being worn on a manicure head. What do you think about this design? Do you like it? Thanks for watching. God bless you. Bye.